Today we welcome a creator who turned a camera and wild ideas into a global empire. From giving away millions to planting millions of trees, MrBeast, Jimmy Donaldson, is not just a YouTuber, he's a movement, proving that generosity and ambition can change the internet and the world.
When I started making videos, there was no grand plan, no secret formula, no guarantee that anyone would even care. I was just a teenager in North Carolina with an old laptop, a cheap microphone, and way too much free time. While most kids my age were hanging out after school, I was sitting alone, counting to 100,000 on camera, just to see if anyone would watch. People thought I was crazy, and maybe they were right, but I've learned that sometimes you have to be a little crazy to stand out in a world that's drowning in noise. I didn't set out to become the biggest YouTuber in the world. I just loved creating. I loved the feeling of making something out of nothing, of putting an idea out there and seeing how people react. And yes, in the beginning almost no one reacted. For years my videos got a few views, a couple of comments, maybe a friend who'd say cool video, even though I knew they didn't really watch it. But that didn't matter to me. I wasn't chasing fame. I was chasing improvement. Every upload was a challenge to make the next one better. I watched hundreds of tutorials, studied other creators, and obsessed over every detail, thumbnails, titles, retention graphs, because I believed that mastery isn't a gift, it's a choice. You decide how much effort you're willing to put in when no one is clapping for you. People think my story is about money, about giving away cars, islands, and millions of dollars. But money is just the tool. What really drives me is impact. I realized early on that when you give someone $10,000, they smile. When you give them hope, they cry. And I wanted to make people cry, not from sadness, but from the shock of being cared for in a world where kindness feels rare. But let me be honest with you, it wasn't easy. Behind every viral video you see, there are dozens of failed ideas, sleepless nights, endless edits, and moments where I questioned if I was wasting my life. I would sit in my room, staring at my computer screen, wondering if I should quit and do something normal. But every time I thought about quitting, I remembered why I started, not for views, not for money, but because creating made me feel alive. I have friends who supported me from day one, who believed in me even when the world didn't. I also had people who laughed at me, who told me to get a real job, who said making videos was a waste of time. And to be fair, it looked like they were right. I was broke, living off pennies, spending every dollar I had to improve my videos. But that's the thing about passion. It doesn't ask for permission, and it doesn't wait for success to show up first. Passion makes you bet on yourself when no one else will. I remember the first time one of my videos really blew up. It wasn't glamorous. I wasn't on a stage. I wasn't even awake. I uploaded it, went to sleep, and woke up to find hundreds of thousands of people watching me do something ridiculous. That morning felt like magic. But here's what most people don't see. I had been uploading for years before that happened. People call it an overnight success, but there's no such thing. The night is usually 5 years long, and no one sees you working in the dark. When you finally break through, everyone will have an opinion. Some will call you lucky. Some will call you crazy. Some will try to copy you. That's fine. The truth is, success is not a door you open once. It's a door you have to keep pushing every single day. And the moment you stop pushing, it starts to close again. That's why I never let myself get comfortable. Even now, with millions of subscribers and billions of views, I'm still that kid in his room thinking, what can I do next that no one has tried before? There's something I've learned about generosity. It's contagious. When you give freely, you give people permission to believe in a better world. When I hand over a check or a car or a house on camera, people see the money. But what they're really seeing is possibility. They're seeing proof that you can use success to lift others instead of just lifting yourself. That's the real secret to happiness. Not having more, but giving more. Of course, I've made mistakes. I've trusted the wrong people. I've failed to deliver sometimes. I've overspent, overworked, and overpromised. I've pushed my team to the edge and pushed myself even further. But every mistake has been a teacher. I don't regret any of them, because if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. Playing it safe might keep you comfortable, but it will never make you proud. There were days when I felt like giving up. Days when the numbers didn't add up, when the stress outweighed the fun, when people online criticized every move I made. And in those moments I asked myself, why are you doing this? The answer was always the same, because I love it. I love building crazy ideas with my friends. I love seeing someone's face light up when you change their life. And I love proving that you don't have to be born rich or famous to make a global impact. You just need relentless curiosity, insane discipline, and a heart that refuses to quit. You don't have to count to 100,000 on camera to succeed. You don't have to give away $1 million. But you do have to care about something so much that you're willing to look stupid for it. You have to be willing to outwork everyone else, to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term meaning. If you do that, success doesn't become a matter of if, it becomes a matter of when. When I started earning real money from my videos, I didn't feel like spending it on myself. I didn't go out and buy fancy cars or gold watches. I put it all back into making bigger and crazier videos because I realized that the thrill wasn't in having money, it was in using money as fuel for creativity. Every dollar I made was like a vote of confidence from the audience, and I wanted to honor that by taking bigger risks. I kept asking myself, how can I turn this into something unforgettable? That's how the massive challenges began, the over-the-top giveaways, the projects like planting millions of trees. I wanted to prove that entertainment can be meaningful, that fun can change lives, that you can build an empire without losing your soul. I had no business training, no investors, no roadmap. I just had obsession. I would study analytics like a scientist, looking at every click, every view, every drop-off point. I treated YouTube not as luck, but as a craft. And when you respect your craft enough to give it everything, the world eventually notices. People ask me now, what's your secret to going viral? And I tell them there is no secret. It's consistency, hard work, and never accepting that good is good enough. If you think your video is perfect, it's probably push harder, polish it again, make it something even you would want to watch twice. But I also learned something more important than views and subscribers. I learned that success is hollow if you have to stand on other people's shoulders to get it. So I built my team like a family. My childhood friends, the people who believed in me when I was nobody, are now the people running this massive channel with me. We grew together, we failed together, and we celebrated together. That's why we've stayed grounded, because no one here cares about fame. We care about creating the coolest videos on the planet and helping as many people as we can along the way. I want to tell you something that I don't say often. There were days when my health took a hit because I worked too much. Days when I didn't see the sun because I was glued to the edit screen. Days when I forgot to eat because I was too busy brainstorming the next crazy idea. Success demands sacrifice. But here's the thing. If you're sacrificing your values, it's not worth it. If you're sacrificing your health forever, it's not worth it. I had to learn balance the hard way. Now I try to remind myself and my team that no video is more important than your life, your peace of mind, or your relationships. What's the point of making millions if you can't even smile while doing it? I've learned that the biggest flex in life is not how much you have, but how much you give. You can't take the money with you when you're gone. You can't take the trophies, the play buttons, or the headlines. What you leave behind is how you made people feel. Did you inspire them to try harder? Did you give them hope? Did you make them believe that the impossible is actually possible? That's the real scoreboard. And I don't care how many subscribers you have. If you can touch someone's life for the better, you're winning. There's something powerful about starting from zero. When you have nothing to lose, you're not afraid to try crazy things. I remember filming videos with no budget, using whatever I had around me, an old phone, some duct tape, a wild idea. I didn't care if people laughed at me. In fact, I expected them to. But every time I pressed upload, I felt alive. That's what I want everyone listening to understand. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect. Start messy. Start small. Start when no one believes in you, especially then. People sometimes ask me, aren't you scared of running out of ideas? Honestly, no. The world is full of ideas, and most of them are hiding in plain sight. Creativity isn't about being a genius. It's about being curious enough to look at ordinary things and ask, how can I make this extraordinary? That's how challenges like, I spent 24 hours underwater, or I built the world's largest Lego tower happen. It's not magic. It's just refusing to accept the boring version of life. But let me tell you, not everyone will cheer for you when you grow. Some people will criticize every move. Some will doubt your intentions. Some will try to tear you down just because you're standing tall. And if you let that noise inside your head, it will destroy you faster than failure ever could. I had to learn to separate real feedback from meaningless hate. If someone points out something I can actually fix, I listen. If someone's just angry that I exist, I let it go. Protect your focus like it's treasure, because it is. There's another thing people get wrong about success. They think it feels like arriving. It doesn't. It feels like building. Every day, you lay another brick. Every video, every idea, every risk is part of something bigger that you can't even see yet. When I hit 10 million subscribers, I didn't feel done. When I hit 50 million, I didn't feel done. Even now, with 100 million, I wake up thinking, what's next? Because success isn't a destination. It's a direction. And as long as you're moving forward, you're already winning. You know what really changed me? Meeting the people whose lives were impacted by my videos. A man who could finally pay for his daughter's surgery. A family that no longer had to worry about rent. Students who could finish school because of scholarships we gave. Those moments make all the sleepless nights worth it. They remind me why I do this. Not for views, not for headlines, but to prove that the internet can be a force for good. That generosity can go viral. That we can build a world where helping people isn't rare, it's normal. And here's the part one, want everyone to hear. You don't have to be MrBeast to do that. You don't need a camera, a crew, or $1 million. You just need to care. You can change someone's life with a kind word, a little help, a moment of your time. If you have big dreams, chase them with everything you've got. But if you want a meaningful life, lift others as you climb. Success shared is success multiplied. I think about the first time I ever gave someone a stack of cash on camera. It wasn't a stunt to me, it was an experiment. I wanted to see what would happen if generosity was entertaining. People expect drama, controversy, clickbait, but what if kindness could be just as exciting? When that video blew up, it proved something important. People are hungry for good news. They want to see others winning. They want to believe the world isn't all bad. And that's when I decided I would dedicate my career not just to entertaining people, but to inspiring them to do good. But let's be real, giving away money isn't the hard part. The hard part is earning the trust of millions of strangers who watch your videos. You have to be authentic. You have to deliver every single time. The internet has a short memory. If you slack off for even a week, they move on. So I worked harder. I obsessed over every thumbnail, every title, every edit. I studied what people clicked, what made them stay, what made them share. I treated this like a science, not a lottery. And slowly, the channel became unstoppable, not because of luck, but because of relentless effort. Still, I want everyone to understand something. Money is not the point. If you're chasing success just to get rich, you'll burn out fast. The only fuel that lasts is passion. I didn't wake up thinking, how do I make $1 million today? I woke up thinking, how do I make the coolest video ever? Money was just the side effect of chasing something I loved. And when you focus on value, not just profit, you build something that lasts. I've had crazy moments in this journey, building chocolate factories, opening burger restaurants, recreating giant movie sets, but none of it would mean anything if I lost myself along the way. Fame can be dangerous. It can make you believe you're invincible, or worse, that you're more important than everyone else. I fight that by surrounding myself with friends who aren't afraid to tell me when I'm wrong, who keep me grounded. No matter how big you get, never be too big to learn, to listen, or to laugh at yourself. The truth is, I'm still that kid who stayed up all night editing videos, hoping someone out there would care. That hunger hasn't gone away. If anything, it's grown. But now I realize it's not just about me, it's about using whatever platform I have to show others that dreams are possible. If a shy kid from North Carolina with no connections, no money, and nothing but a camera can build this, what's stopping you from building yours? I've met so many people who are afraid to start because they think they're not ready. They say, I need better equipment, or I need more money, or I need to wait for the perfect moment. But here's the truth, there is no perfect moment. If I had waited until I had the best camera, I would still be waiting. If I had waited until I knew everything about YouTube, I'd still be studying instead of doing. The only way to learn is by trying, by failing, by fixing, and by trying again. Every failure I've ever had was just a stepping stone to something better. When you're obsessed with something, people will call you crazy. They'll say, why are you wasting your time? They'll laugh when you tell them your dreams. I heard it all. People told me no one could make a living off YouTube. They told me it wasn't a real job. But here's the thing. Your dream doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It only has to make sense to you. And if you're willing to work harder than anyone else, eventually they stop laughing and start asking how you did it. But don't confuse obsession with selfishness. If your dream is only about you, it will feel empty when you reach it. That's why I wanted my channel to be about giving back, about making the world a little brighter. I wanted people to see that you can have fun, do crazy things, and still help others along the way. That's what keeps me going. Because no matter how tired I get, no matter how stressful it gets, I know it's worth it when I see the look on someone's face whose life just changed. And here's another thing I've learned: success is not a straight line. It's messy. It's full of unexpected turns, days when you think everything's falling apart, and nights when you question if you're good enough. I've had videos flop, I've had projects fail, I've had moments where I thought I was done. But every setback taught me something. Every challenge made me sharper. You can't be great without struggle. Pressure makes diamonds, and if you're willing to endure it, you'll come out stronger than you ever imagined. I want everyone listening to hear this clearly: you are capable of more than you think. The difference between people who dream and people who succeed isn't talent, it's persistence. Most people quit too soon. They stop digging right before they hit gold. If you just keep going, even when it's hard, even when no one believes in you, you will find your breakthrough. It might not come today or tomorrow, but it will come. One of the most surprising lessons I've learned on this journey is that success doesn't just test your work ethic, it tests your character. When you start achieving your goals, opportunities come at you from every direction. People suddenly want to partner with you, invest in you, be around you. But not all opportunities are good opportunities. I had to learn to say no. No to deals that didn't feel right. No to people who didn't share my values. No to shortcuts that could have made me money but cost me my integrity. Staying true to yourself is harder than it sounds when the stakes are high. There were moments when I felt overwhelmed. Managing a growing team, planning bigger and crazier projects, trying to make sure everything was perfect, it can get to you. I used to think I had to do everything myself, but I learned to trust people, to delegate, to build a team that believed in the same vision. The truth is, you can go fast alone, but you can go far together. Surround yourself with people who aren't just talented but honest, who will challenge you when you're wrong and push you when you're tired. As the channel grew, I started to realize the weight of having an audience this massive. Words matter. Actions matter. When millions of people watch you, you don't just entertain them, you influence them. That's why I've always tried to use this platform responsibly. I don't just want to be known for crazy challenges or giant giveaways. I want to be known for proving that kindness can scale, that you can do good at a level no one thought possible. But I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes, I've had to learn in public, and that's not easy. The internet is quick to judge, and sometimes it feels like every misstep gets magnified 100 times. What keeps me grounded is remembering why I started. Not for fame, not for money, but because I love making videos, I love creating, and I love surprising people in ways they never expected. That passion is the compass that keeps me moving forward when everything feels chaotic. Here's the part one really want people to understand: you don't need to have millions of followers to make a difference. You don't need cameras or production budgets or viral fame. You just need to take action. Help one person. Share what you know. Be generous with your time, your energy, your kindness. Those small things ripple out in ways you can't imagine. My videos reach millions, but you can change the world for someone right next to you, and that's just as powerful. When I look back, it's crazy to think that everything started with a kid sitting in his bedroom, staring at a computer screen, just trying to figure things out. No studio, no big production, no fancy connections. Just curiosity, stubbornness, and an internet connection. I spent hours analyzing what worked on YouTube, not because someone told me to, but because I was obsessed. And that obsession turned into a skill, the ability to grab attention without being fake, to make people care without tricking them. That's something you can't learn from a textbook. You learn it by living it. But the deeper lesson wasn't about algorithms or titles or thumbnails. It was about patience. Everyone wants to blow up overnight. Everyone wants the viral hit that changes everything. But the truth is, it took me years before anyone really noticed what I was doing. Years of videos barely getting views. Years of grinding in silence while other people doubted me. That's the part nobody sees. The lonely part, the hard part, the part where you wonder if you're wasting your life. But that's also where you build the discipline, the resilience, and the hunger that you need when success finally comes. People think success makes you happy automatically. But real happiness doesn't come from numbers on a screen. It comes from doing what you love every day, from creating something meaningful, from sharing it with people who care. Yes, I've had videos with hundreds of millions of views. Yes, I've given away cars, houses, stacks of cash. But none of it would matter if I didn't love the process. You can't chase results, you have to chase growth. If you fall in love with the work itself, the results will take care of themselves. Another thing I've realized, you have to stay curious. The moment you think you know everything, you stop improving. I'm still learning every single day. I watch other creators, I study trends, I experiment with new ideas. I'm never too proud to take notes from someone else. Ego is the enemy of progress. If you're willing to stay a student, no matter how much you achieve, you'll keep moving forward. And above all, you need to care about people. Audiences are smart. They can tell when you're being real and when you're just chasing views. I've always tried to put people first, both in my videos and in real life. Whether it's surprising a stranger or helping a friend, that genuine connection is what makes everything worth it. You don't have to be on YouTube to live that way. Whatever your path is, put people before profit, purpose before pride. That's how you build something that lasts. I've met so many creators who think the key to success is just chasing the next viral trend. And yes, trends can give you a boost, but if you're only copying what's hot right now, you'll always be one step behind. Longevity comes from building your own style, your own voice, something people can recognize instantly as yours. I didn't want to just be another YouTuber making content to fill the feed. I wanted to make content that no one else would even dare to try. That's why I pushed for bigger and crazier projects, not to show off, but to stand out, to create something unforgettable. But that ambition comes with pressure. When people expect every video to be bigger than the last, you feel like you can't take a break. I've burned myself out more than once, staying awake for days just to finish an idea, spending every dollar I had because I believed it would come back eventually. That kind of risk is terrifying, but it teaches you how much you really want this. If you're not willing to bet on yourself, why should anyone else bet on you? And still, the most rewarding part isn't the numbers or the fame. It's seeing someone who watches my videos feel inspired to do something kind, to take a risk, to follow their own dream. When I hear stories of people starting their own channels, planting trees in their neighborhoods, or just deciding not to give up on themselves because of something they saw, that's the real win. That's when you know you're not just making content, you're making impact. I want everyone to hear this. You don't need permission to start. You don't need someone to tell you you're ready. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to take the first step. Today, right now, even if it's small, even if it's messy. Everyone starts at zero. Everyone feels lost at the beginning. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep learning, keep improving. Consistency beats talent every single time. And as you grow, remember this, success doesn't change you, it reveals you. If you're generous when you have a little, you'll be generous when you have a lot. If you're selfish when you're starting out, more success will only make that worse. Build good habits early. Be kind, be disciplined, be honest. That's the foundation you need for any dream to stand tall. As the projects got bigger, the stakes got higher. When you're giving away a house or building a massive set or running a competition that involves hundreds of people, you can't afford to cut corners. Every detail matters: planning, safety, logistics, even making sure the story feels authentic to the audience. It's not just about spectacle, it's about connection. People don't watch just because something is huge, they watch because they care about the people involved, the emotions, the journey. That's a lesson I wish more creators would understand. The human element is everything. There were times when I thought I'd reached my limit. Times when I was exhausted, when I questioned whether I could keep going at this pace. And honestly, I wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for the people around me. My friends, my team, they're the reason these videos are even possible. You can't build something massive by yourself. You need people who believe in the mission, who share your work ethic, who will stay up all night with you to get it right. And you have to treat those people right, appreciate them, respect them, and never take them for granted. Money is a tool, not the goal. I know it sounds strange coming from someone known for giving away millions, but I never cared about stacking cash in a bank account. Every dollar that came in went straight back into making bigger and better content. That's how you grow, you reinvest in yourself, you double down on your vision. But money also tests people. It tests whether you'll stay true to your purpose or get distracted by comfort and ego. I've seen people lose themselves the moment they start earning big. I promised myself I wouldn't let that happen. The more I achieved, the more I realized something important. It's not about outdoing others, it's about outdoing yourself. I don't compete with anyone else. I'm not trying to be better than some other creator. I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. If you live like that, you stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. You focus on your own growth, your own journey, your own standard of excellence. And through it all, I've stayed grateful. Grateful that people watch, grateful that I get to live my dream, grateful that a kid from nowhere can build something that reaches the whole world. Gratitude keeps you humble, and humility keeps you hungry. No matter how far you go, never forget where you started, and never stop saying thank you to the people who helped you along the way. The most common question I get is, how do you come up with these ideas? And the truth is, ideas are everywhere. The problem isn't finding them, it's chasing them with enough energy to turn them into reality. Most people stop at the dream stage because the work looks too big. But the crazy thing about big ideas is that they're not actually harder than small ones. They just take more persistence, more planning, and more belief. If you're willing to commit, you'll be amazed at how many impossible things are actually possible. When I started making challenge videos, a lot of people thought I was wasting my time. They said, who's going to watch you count to 100,000? Or why would anyone care if you read the dictionary? But that's the beauty of it. When you try something no one else has done, you stand out. Even the silly stuff taught me discipline. Sitting there for hours, pushing through boredom, finishing what I started, that's what built the mental toughness I needed for bigger projects later on. Sometimes the strangest experiments are the ones that prepare you for greatness. But let's be honest, it's not just about me. The reason this journey has worked is because it's always been about giving back, about making other people's lives better, even if just for a moment. Whether it's paying off someone's college tuition or surprising a stranger with a new car, those moments are real. The smiles are real. And you don't need millions of dollars to do that. You can change someone's day with kindness that costs nothing. A compliment, a helping hand, just showing up when they need you. People ask me if I ever feel pressure to top myself with every video. The answer is yes and no. Yes, because I want to keep pushing the limits. No, because I've learned that you can't measure your worth by one number, one video, one moment. Life is bigger than metrics. Even if a video doesn't break records, if it makes people happy, if it inspires someone to take action, that's success to me. And here's another thing I've learned. Failure is part of the process. Not every idea works. Not every plan goes smoothly. I've wasted money, time, and effort on projects that didn't pan out. But I don't regret any of it, because every failure taught me something. Every mistake sharpened my instincts. If you're scared to fail, you'll never take the risks that lead to real growth. You have to fail forward, learn fast, and keep moving. There's something powerful about putting yourself in situations where you have no choice but to grow. When you spend every dollar you've earned to make the next video, when you commit to something so big that failure would be humiliating, you light a fire under yourself. Comfort is the enemy of ambition. If you're too comfortable, you'll stop pushing, stop experimenting, stop improving. I kept myself uncomfortable on purpose because I knew that's where the magic happens, outside the safe zone. But discomfort alone isn't enough. You need a vision so clear that it pulls you forward even when you're tired, even when you're broke, even when people are telling you it's not going to work. My vision wasn't just to be a big YouTuber. It was to change how people see YouTube, to show that you can do massive things, help people in real life, and still entertain millions. I wanted to prove that being generous could be as exciting as any stunt, any prank, any trend. And generosity doesn't just mean giving away money. It means giving your time, your energy, your attention. It means putting your audience first, respecting their time by creating something worth watching. It means building your team up instead of stepping on them. It means sharing what you've learned so others can succeed too. If you build your dream while helping others build theirs, you'll go further than you ever imagined. People sometimes ask me, aren't you afraid of running out of ideas? Honestly, no, because ideas aren't the hard part, execution is. You could give 10 people the same brilliant concept, and only one of them would actually make it happen. Success isn't about having perfect ideas, it's about having relentless follow-through. It's about showing up every day, refining, adjusting, refusing to quit. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Looking back, I realized the channel didn't grow just because of me. It grew because people believed in the mission. Viewers shared videos because they loved seeing something positive on the internet. Team members gave their best because they felt like they were part of something bigger than themselves. And I kept going because I didn't want to let any of them down. That's the kind of responsibility that pushes you to stay focused and keep your heart in the right place. When you do something long enough, people start to think you've got it all figured out. But the truth is, I'm still learning every single day. The moment you think you know everything, you stop growing. I study other creators, I study businesses, I study anything that can teach me how to improve. Curiosity is like a superpower. It keeps you humble and it keeps you sharp. In the early days, I didn't care if a video got 100 views or 1,000 views. I just cared that the next one was better than the last. That's still my mindset. Even now, with millions watching, I don't take a single view for granted. Every person who clicks is giving me their time, and time is the most valuable thing anyone can give. That's why I put everything I have into making sure that time feels well spent. There's also a misconception that success is this straight upward line. You just keep winning and winning. But it's not like that. It's messy. It's up and down. You'll have breakthroughs, and then you'll have setbacks. You'll have moments where you feel unstoppable, and moments where you feel invisible. What matters is whether you stay consistent through it all. Most people give up during the quiet seasons, when it feels like no one's paying attention. But those are the times when your discipline is built. Those are the times when you're laying the foundation for future success. The internet moves fast. Trends come and go, platforms change, algorithms shift. You can't control any of that. What you can control is your work ethic, your attitude, your willingness to adapt. If you focus on those things, you'll be ready no matter what changes around you. I never chased trends, I chased quality, and quality always wins in the long run. Another thing I've realized is that success doesn't fix everything. It doesn't erase insecurity. It doesn't magically make life easy. What it does is give you more tools, and then it tests whether you'll use them wisely. Money and fame are amplifiers. If you're kind, you'll become more generous. If you're selfish, you'll become more greedy. If you're disciplined, you'll achieve more. If you're careless, you'll crash harder. That's why character matters more than numbers. Build your character as much as you build your career. As the projects grew bigger, I had to learn to trust people more. In the beginning, I wanted to do everything myself. Scripting, filming, editing, planning. But you can't build something massive alone. You need a team that shares your vision, people who are not just talented, but also driven by the same mission. The best thing I ever did was surround myself with people who push me, challenge me, and tell me when I'm wrong. Success is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about building a room full of smart people who make each other better. Leadership isn't about giving orders. It's about setting an example. If you expect your team to work hard, you have to work harder. If you expect them to care about the audience, you have to show that you care too. A leader eats last, takes responsibility when things go wrong, and gives credit when things go right. That's how you build trust, and trust is the foundation of everything. Sometimes people assume that because I give away so much money, it must be easy for me. But every big giveaway is a risk. Every massive challenge video requires planning, coordination, and sometimes months of preparation. We've had videos where the logistics nearly fell apart, where we almost couldn't pull it off. But that's the price of doing something no one's ever done before. You're writing the playbook as you go. And honestly, that's what makes it fun. If it were easy, it wouldn't be exciting. If it were predictable, it wouldn't inspire anyone. I want people to see that you can dream up something wild, something impossible, and then figure out a way to make it real. That's not just a YouTube lesson. That's a life lesson. People often say, when I have more money, I'll start giving. But generosity isn't about the size of your wallet. It's about the size of your heart. If you're not generous when you have a little, you won't magically become generous when you have a lot. Start small. Help one person. Make one difference. That's how it grows. There's another thing I've learned on this journey. Don't let the noise control you. When you're in the public eye, people will have opinions about everything you do. Some will cheer you on, some will criticize you, some will try to pull you down just because you're climbing. If you listen to every voice, you'll lose your own. In the early days, I read every comment. I wanted to know what people thought, what they liked, what they hated. And sure, feedback is valuable, but there's a difference between constructive advice and empty negativity. I had to teach myself to filter out the noise, to focus on the voices that help me grow instead of the ones that try to stop me. That's true for anyone chasing a dream. Not everyone will understand why you're doing what you're doing. They might call it unrealistic, they might laugh at you, they might say you're wasting your time. But remember, they don't see what you see. They don't feel the fire in your chest when you think about your dream. Only you know why it matters. Hold on to that. The craziest thing is, some of the people who doubted you will later ask how you did it. And you won't even feel angry anymore, because by then you'll understand they weren't really doubting you, they were doubting themselves. They didn't believe something big was possible, because they didn't believe they could do something big. But when you prove it can be done, you give others permission to believe too. That's the real power of chasing your dreams. It's not just about what you accomplish. It's about who you inspire along the way. Every time you refuse to quit, you're silently telling someone else, don't quit either. Every time you take a risk, you're showing someone it's okay to take theirs. And that ripple effect is bigger than any number, any trophy, any award. There's a myth that when you reach a certain level of success, you finally arrive. People imagine there's a finish line, a point where you've made it, where you can stop running. But the truth is, there is no finish line. The goal keeps moving, and that's a good thing. Because if you ever stop growing, you stop living with purpose. I never wanted to just build a channel. I wanted to build something that would last longer than me, something that would change the way people think about what's possible. Every video, every project is just one step in that bigger vision. And that vision isn't about me, it's about proving that entertainment can do good, that creativity can change lives, that the internet can be a force for kindness. To do that, you have to stay hungry. You can't let success make you lazy. You can't let comfort make you forget why you started. I wake up every day asking myself, what can we do next that's never been done before? That question keeps me excited and a little scared, which is exactly where I want to be. And here's something I'll tell anyone chasing their dream. Don't wait for perfect conditions. If I had waited until I had the right equipment, or enough money, or the perfect plan, I'd still be waiting. You have to start where you are, with what you have. The path gets clearer as you walk it. Opportunities don't show up fully formed, they grow as you move forward. Also, never underestimate how much impact you can have, even if you feel small. I've met people who said one of my videos inspired them to start helping in their own community. That means more to me than any view count. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being the biggest, it's about making the biggest difference you can, wherever you are, with whatever you've got. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is that growth often means letting go. Letting go of old habits, old fears, sometimes even old relationships. Not everyone who starts with you will finish with you, and that's okay. People grow in different directions, and chasing something extraordinary often means walking a different path. When I first started, I had no clue what was coming. I just knew I loved creating, I loved experimenting, I loved challenging myself. As things got bigger, I realized I had to make sacrifices, not because I wanted to, but because there are only 24 hours in a day. There were birthdays I missed, nights I stayed up editing when I should have been sleeping, moments when I wondered if it was worth it. But every step, every sacrifice built something larger than I ever imagined. And that's the crazy thing. The dream you start with isn't always the dream you end up chasing. It grows with you. It evolves as you do. At first I just wanted people to watch my videos. Then I wanted to see how far I could push YouTube as a platform. Now, I want to see how far kindness and creativity can reach in the real world. And that brings me to something I truly believe. Success is only meaningful when it's shared. If your dream only serves you, it will eventually feel empty. But if your dream lifts others, if it creates opportunities for people around you, it becomes unstoppable. That's why I focus on giving, on building, on helping. Because every time someone else wins, I feel like I win too. The world has enough people tearing each other down. Be the person who builds others up. You'll be surprised how far that will take you, not just in your career, but in life. Another thing I've realized is that impact matters more than attention. In this digital world, everyone's chasing clicks, views and followers. But those numbers don't mean anything if they don't stand for something. I'd rather make one video that genuinely changes someone's life than 10 videos that just rack up empty views. The secret is to focus on value. What are you giving to people? Are you making them laugh? Are you teaching them something? Are you inspiring them to take action? When you focus on giving instead of taking, people feel it. Audiences are smart. They know when you care about more than just yourself. I've also learned to never underestimate the power of consistency. You don't need to have it all figured out on day one. You just need to keep showing up, keep posting, keep learning, keep improving. Even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Because those lonely hours are where you build the skills and resilience that will carry you when the spotlight finally hits. When people ask me what's the secret to success, I tell them there isn't one. There's no shortcut, no hack, no magic formula. It's just relentless effort, every single day. It's caring more than anyone else. It's refusing to quit even when it feels impossible. And here's the funny part. When you stop chasing fame and start chasing excellence, the fame takes care of itself. People notice when you pour everything you have into what you do. They can't help it. Excellence attracts attention, but attention doesn't always bring excellence. That's why so many people burn out. Focus on the craft, and the rest will follow. The more I've grown, the more I've understood that true success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Early on, I wanted to show everyone who doubted me that I could do it. But over time I realized the real competition was with the person I was yesterday. Am I learning more today? Am I pushing myself harder? Am I becoming someone I can respect? That's the measure that matters. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop obsessing over what everyone else thinks. You stop chasing validation and start chasing growth. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You realize that every journey is unique, and yours is unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to, as long as you keep moving forward. And here's something powerful: success doesn't make you happy. Purpose does. You can hit every milestone, every subscriber count, every financial goal, and still feel empty if you're not connected to something deeper. That's why I keep focusing on impact. When I give someone a chance, when I help change someone's life, when I see hope light up in their eyes, that fills me in a way no number ever could. This is why I tell people to dream big, but also dream beyond themselves. Make your dream so big that it includes others. Make it something that uplifts people, that inspires them, that leaves the world a little better than you found it. Because when your dream serves others, it stops being just a dream, it becomes a legacy. If there's one message I want to leave you with, it's this: greatness is not reserved for a chosen few. It's built piece by piece, by anyone willing to put in the work, stay curious, and never give up. You don't need permission to start. You don't need someone to open the door for you. You can build your own door, brick by brick, until the world has no choice but to notice. When people look at what I do now, they see the big productions, the massive giveaways, the millions of views. What they don't see are the years of trial and error, the videos that flopped, the nights I stayed awake wondering if this was all just a crazy dream. But that's the point. Success looks impossible until you've already done the impossible. So wherever you are, whatever you have, start. Start messy, start scared, start unsure, just start. The path reveals itself to people who keep walking. The dream grows for people who keep chasing. And the impact multiplies for people who keep giving. If I've learned anything, it's that you don't need to be the smartest or the richest or the most talented. You just need to care more, try harder, and refuse to stop when it gets hard. That's the real secret. That's what turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. So go build your dream, not just for you, but for the people who will be inspired by you. For the strangers you'll never meet whose lives you'll touch. For the future that's waiting to be written. And remember, if a kid with a camera and a wild idea can do it, so can you.